Hello, scientist. I have a solution containing a mixture of compounds, and I want to separate a specific compound that contains histidine. Can you help me with this matter?
So, for separating and isolating a specific molecule, we can go with immobilized metal affinity chromatography. This is our solution if we zoom in. It has different molecules, and among them the red-colored molecules have histidine in them, and we need to separate them out.
Alright then. Let's dive into the materials and methods required for performing the immobilized metal affinity chromatography. While performing a chromatography like this, we need a stationary phase, which is nickel sephora's high-performance bead. These beads are 34 micrometer in diameter, made up of 6% agarose, which can bind to at least 40 mg of his tag protein per milliliter of medium.
The next important component is buffer. Here we use two types of buffer. Firstly, we have elution buffer, which is prepared by adding 20 millimolar sodium phosphate, 0.5 molar sodium chloride and 500 millimolar imidazole. Also make sure to maintain the pH at 7.4. The second buffer is binding buffer. This is prepared by mixing 20 millimolar sodium phosphate, 0.5 molar sodium chloride, 20 to 40 millimolar imidazole. Also maintain the pH of 7.4 for this buffer.
Let's proceed with the experiment now. Here we will take the column and pack them with stationary phase, and also perform the necessary steps. But before that, make sure to equilibrate all materials to the temperature at which the separation will be performed. This is our column. Now eliminate air by flushing column end pieces with the binding buffer. Ensure no air is trapped under the column net. Close column outlet, leaving 2 to 3 cm of buffer in the column. Pour required volume of beads into the column and make sure no air bubble is formed. Immediately fill the column with buffer. Mount the column top adapter and connect to a pump. After that, open the column outlet and set the pump to desired flow rate.
The next step is charging the chromatography medium at the stationary phase with metal ion. For this, at first prepare 0.1 molar solution of desired metal ion, which is nickel ion here, and dissolve it in distilled water. Here is our column again. Now wash the column with at least 2 column volumes of distilled water. After that, apply at least 0.2 column volumes of the metal ion solution to the column. You can see those beautiful bound metal ions in white. Well, at last wash the column with at least 5 column volumes of distilled water to remove excess metal ions.
Now it is time for initial blank run. For this, apply 5 column volume of distilled water, and after that apply 5 to 10 column of binding buffer. This will help to equilibrate our column. The next step is pouring our sample in the column. Those colored circles 8 denoted here is our sample components.
Now let's zoom into our column. So as you can see, the sample is already applied in our column. Now we are going to add the binding buffer, which helps the histidine-containing molecule to attach with metal ion. Next, we apply low concentration elution buffer to remove unbound molecules from the column. After this, we will apply high concentration of elution buffer to elute out our sample from the column. Next, we can regenerate the column by washing it with 5 to 10 column volumes of binding buffer, and the column will be ready for reuse.
Hello children, sorry I got carried away with my other experiment. I hope all my scholars explained the affinity chromatography in details. I want you guys to experience the ultra-molecular vision of metal affinity chromatography. That's why I came running from my lab to you guys. This is what our affinity chromatography column looks like in real. This column is filled with agarose beads. On the surface of these beads, we have those zigzag lines depicting the spacer molecule. The structure attached to spacer is NTA, and on top of NTA we have our nickel ions depicted as the white balls. This picture will give a better understanding of the arrangement of the spacer, followed by NTA, that is nitrilotriacetic acid, and followed by nickel ion. We can also see how histidine-containing sample binds to it. Well, now as you can see, once the sample is applied along with binding buffer, the histidine containing molecule gets attached to the nickel NTA and a coordinate bond is formed between them. Now very low concentration imidazole containing elution buffer remove the unbound molecules. This step is followed by addition of high concentration elution buffer, which breaks coordinates bonds of the sample molecule and nickel NTA and replace the red molecules which have histidine with the homologous imidazole denoted here in blue color, and thus help to elute out our molecule of interest.